What's going on, guys? Dakota back with another video. It is lesson, I believe it's lesson 5, going over patterns, rectangular flag pattern, right? And it goes by both those names, either the rectangle or the flag pattern, if you guys are interested in being very particular with what you say. But let's go into it. Like I said, we're going to be going over the flat pattern and the rectangle, and those are interchangeable names. And basically what I'm going to show you right now is what it looks like. This video is not going to be too long, right? This is another continuation pattern. At least I use it as a continuation pattern, and you will understand why I do that in a second. But your flat pattern is essentially what's often called consolidation, right? I think this is the staple of what consolidation looks like, right? You just have, if you want to say, two hills or two mountains side by side, bare minimum, right? Bare minimum, you have two mountains and you have one valley right there. If you can see that, for the people that need a little more imagination in their life, we could say basically you have a push up, a push down, a push up, a push down, right? And that just repeats twice. Okay. Now this can extend over a period of time. It's just going back, bouncing back between support and resistance back and forth. But like I said, this can go over a period of time, so this can continue. It doesn't really have to break out at any point, like after a certain number of humps. That is not what we're interested in. Okay, if you do find a strategy that works for that, power to you. You can use that in your own strategy, formulate your own strategy with that if you discover something. But this is essentially a flat pattern. It's nothing too fancy, it's just a rectangle, right? So that pattern should be easy to actually look at, but how do we capitalize on it? When we see this pattern, what are we looking to do? Okay, so with the flat pattern, the end result of this, there's really close to a 50-50 chance regardless of which way this breaks out, right? Whether it goes up or goes down, there's not really much that we can do to determine which direction the market's going to go when we have this pattern. But there is a tweak of a little or a smidge of an opportunity that will go in one direction more than the other direction. Okay, so what I personally do, depending on my impulse, is going to determine whether I'm buying or selling this pattern. So if I have an impulse coming down, okay, remember, impulse, pattern. I have a flat pattern. Flat pattern formed after my downward impulse. I would be looking to sell every time price hits the top of here. Okay, the first opportunity that I would look to sell at is right here on the second hump. Okay, and every opportunity after that, I will look to sell there. I will look to sell there. Okay, that's when I have an impulse coming down. Impulse coming down, flat pattern after it, I'm selling at the top of the flat pattern. So I like to keep it simple. That's all I do with that. And same with the inverse. Like if you have an impulse coming up, impulse going up, I'm entering on that second hump. Every time price is the bottom, bottom, bottom. I'm entering every time price is the bottom there. Okay, or looking for an entry every time price is the bottom there. All right, so now, like I said, there's a 50-50 chance. If you discover that, okay, I understand what you're saying, Dakota, yes, you look for sales when there's an impulse down, but what I'm really seeing is every time this pattern occurs, price goes the opposite direction. If you like that, if you have data to back that up, to say, okay, this is what I'm looking for, you can also enter at the bottom, right? So this pattern is more of a choice for you of what you want to do, right? So every time you see an impulse coming down and you get a flat pattern, you're going to be buying instead of selling, all right? But this is what I personally do. If I have an impulse coming down and I get a flat pattern, I'm selling every single time, all right? Now, obviously takes into account the structure, right? Taking into account your supply and demand zones. If you see this pattern, if you see an impulse coming down and you see this pattern and a, let's say a demand zone is right below it, it's not really likely that price will push past this area, right? Could be this moment that price may be reversing. So you're looking for an impulse up, a correction, and continuation the other way. All right. I hope that makes sense. Now, I will go deeper into detail on other ways that you could enter on this pattern. So we'll keep this downward here, right? So let's say, actually, let's delete that. Let's say we got a flat pattern, and what we're going to do is after price breaks this low, we're going to wait for a retest or a correction, right? This is just a smaller time frame correction. A retest is just a smaller time frame correction. If you go to a smaller time frame, you'll see a pattern form there, most likely. Okay, and that's an opportunity to capitalize off it and then look to sell from that point. Now, also the opposite, if price ends up breaking out the top, you wait for a retest, wait for a correction, you wait for that pattern to form, and then look to buy from that point. All right, really, really simple. This pattern is really simple. Okay, guys. And like always, you can go to Finvids, has all the patterns that I'm going to be teaching you guys and more. Go up here to chart patterns, and then you go to rectangle, which is right here. And in rectangle, they have a video for you, and they have words for you to read. Also some little some pictures and some stats for you, if that fancies you. I think that's the right way to use it. All right, but let's go ahead and look at this in the actual market. Let's go ahead and find a few examples. Okay, yeah. So right before I started this recording, I found an example, and I wanted to show you guys how it looks when you actually come to the market. So here we have an impulse coming down, and I will say recognize we are on the daily time frame. We have an impulse coming down, okay? After that impulse, what it looks like formed was actually some type of bearish flag, right? Okay, so it looks like a bearish flag form. We're looking for price to continue down, but we can see as price revisited this low that we have here. When price revisited this low here, when price revisited this low here, basically wicks started to reject, right? We got reversal patterns here, okay? If you don't know what these reversal patterns are, again, you can find them in Finvids, and you can find them in the candlestick patterns. You can also find them in the mentorship section or mentorship playlist that I've actually put together for you guys. I believe I've talked on these candles with wicks on a few of those videos. All right. Well, we can see price started to reject here. So we're looking to see if price is going to reject or actually push through. And if we play a few candles, you can see price is starting to make higher highs, right? See price is coming back up to here. Play another candle, right? And we see price is still pushing up. So we're going to prepare ourselves. We're going to say, okay, a potential pattern that could form here. All right, this is how you want to be thinking as the market is moving. What is the next potential pattern that could form here? Okay, we have an impulse. We have a bearish flag, but we can see that price didn't play out that bearish flag all the way, and price is coming back up. So what could this form? Well, I can see that here we have two lows that match each other. But up here we only have one high, right? We only have that highest high there. So if price comes up to here and gives me a rejection, or gives me one of my JCPs, which we'll go over in a future lesson, I'll look to sell in that area. So let's see if price gets up to that area. You can see price came up to the area, and we did get a JCP here. All right, and again, if you're saying to yourself, Dakota, it didn't touch the line, what do you mean it came all the way back up? Every single line that we draw in our chart, is an area. It is not a line. Everything we draw on a chart is an area. It is not a line. It is never a line. For my strategy right now, I'm not saying wait for price to hit this price point exactly and that is where it's going to turn around. You won't hear me say that. Yeah, I felt awkward just giving an example trying to say that just now. But this is an area. We see it's got to this area, gave us a reversal pattern, and this would be our entry opportunity for a sell. And we will be going over how to set your stop loss in the future, but we're looking for this to play out, and we'll just target that there. And let's see if it actually does. It ended up playing out. Okay, that is how I approach the flat patterns. Okay, and definitely you want to take I would say memorize, basically figuring out, get good at figuring out what the next potential pattern is. Okay, and all that takes is just practice, right? Going through the chart, finding the patterns, watching them play out, things like that, back testing. All right, and if you want to see it inverted, if we're buying, it's just the opposite. We have an impulse there. Okay, imagine those are blue or green candles, and then we got a correction and we're entering at the bottom. All right, but for homework, again, you're finding 5 flat patterns on 5 different pairs. So here is one on EJ. It's back in 2011. If you can find them. Don't care what time frame you do it on. I would prefer that you stick to one time frame, because that way it'll be easier to go back and review it, so you can go ahead and see what it looks like. And of course, if you're having private one-on-ones with me, it would be a whole lot easier for us to go through it when we hop on that call again. All right. Now, a challenge that I spoke on last time was basically going all the way back to the beginning of the chart, right? And finding every pattern. Okay, so last one, I believe I said find every flat pattern or find every flag, and this time you can find every flat pattern or every flat pattern and every flag. Okay, the more that you do it, the better that you will get, right? The more that you're going to be, the more that you will see improvement, and you'll begin to say, okay, I can see this possibly forming. All right, all we're doing is essentially developing a hypothesis. Okay, and if certain criteria is met, our hypothesis has a higher probability or has a higher chance that it may play out our way, may play out the way that we are looking for it to play out. Okay, but you definitely have to project things. You can't just say, oh, I see it now after the move has happened. Okay, make sure you're seeing, okay, this could possibly happen, this could possibly form, that type of thing. And the way to do that is through back testing and finding these patterns like I showed you guys in the last few videos. All right, but hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one.